Oh, hey guys. Okay, so this video is just going to be another tips video which I try and do every year. So it's just going to be some old, new tips, randomly selected, hopefully for some new players. You might even learn something new even if you're an old player. So yeah, let's get straight into it, guys. Okay guys, this tip is how to survive if you're being chased by someone with a bow. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to sprint in a straight line, and by doing this, if you sprint in a straight line, every time they cock their bow and take a shot, you gain ground on them. Okay, so the next part is just to make sure that you don't get hit by the arrows. So while you're sprint running, just hold Alt and look behind you, watch the enemy player. As soon as he goes to cock his bow, just release Alt and just make sure you straight move to one side, and then get back on the Alt and looking at him. As soon as he cocks again, just move again. Obviously try and mix up which side you're going to strafe to, but what this does is just basically means that he's more likely to miss because he would have aimed at you because he thought you were running in a straight line. Okay. Okay guys, so the next tip is how to rotate a wall that has been placed the wrong way around. Okay, so for example, this room here is a TC room. Ideally, you're not going to want someone to be able to soft side into that, are you? So this is wrong, I can't rotate it, so what you do is you have to upgrade it, and it will give you a time window to then rotate it. So I upgrade it, and then I can rotate it, and now it's sorted. Okay, so it's a bit of a downfall, you have to upgrade it, but it just gives you that flexibility that if something is placed wrong, you're not fully out of options. You haven't got to spend ages soft siding something just to break it. Okay, you might be able to get away with this tip. Okay guys, so this next tip's a little bit naughty, but if you're not happy with it or don't like it, then just don't use it, it's fine. Okay, so what it is what you want to do is walk up to a box or a sleeping bag and see that white circle? Yep, what you want to do is you want to go find yourself a sticker, preferably red, I would, and cut yourself a little square off like a diamond shape or something, or a circle. And what you want to do is stick that sticker on your monitor in the center of that white circle, okay? Because that is the center of the screen, and the way Rust made the game is the guns shoot at the dead center of the screen. Okay, so what it's going to do is going to give you a little reticule, so when you're like walking around, you can have your cursor, your aim pre-aimed at certain angles before you even have to pull your sight up. Okay, it does help me a lot, and yes, try it out, see what you think, and that is going to lead on to this next tip. Okay guys, so if an airdrop's coming down and you want to know where it's dropping, just run and look up as far as you can. Okay, now if you've got a gun, you can just use this. Okay, but like if you don't have a gun, you can just use that sticker that I told you about on the last tip. Okay, and I'm just going to look up now as far as I can until the sticker lines up with the airdrop. Okay, once you get to this point, okay, you know this is where the airdrop is going to land, so then you can go set up somewhere and wait for anyone, or set up a trap, or do whatever you want to do. Okay, I know that it's quite low now and you've probably got a good guess, but sometimes if it's right outside your base and it's just dropped, you can work out exactly where it's going to drop straight away. Okay. Okay, this next tip is a bit of a two-parter, but it also does have its own tip in it. So what you want to do, especially early wipe if you're solo, you don't have much food or cloth or meds and stuff, what you want to do is just kill yourself. Okay, what you do is you respawn back in your base, and what you want to do is just grab the bone knife, obviously grab all your loot, but I'm just trying to speed this up, and chop yourself up. And what you can do with this is you can cook the human meat for the next tip. I'll show you why human meat is actually worth having. But the main reason is for these human skulls. Okay. You crush them. With the bones that you've got, you can make some bone arrows. And bone arrows have better chance of hitting your enemy players. I don't know whether it makes the hitboxes bigger or what, but yeah, it's hard to miss with bow and arrows, to put it that way. Okay, so this next tip is always have a room which is effectively your bedroom in your base. So have a sleeping bag or a bed, and have a box, and have a method to get comfort. So the best option is probably the bear rug, to be honest. You stand at his head and it will give you 100% comfort. There you go. And that will go up to 100. Or the other option is the chair. It does the same thing. The only downfall with the chair is at the night time. You have to have a campfire on next to you when you're on the chair, which is a bit of a downfall. Anyway, so the whole point of this is we're going to kill ourselves, and I'll show you why the human bear meat is good. I'm quickly going to hit kill. I'll respawn in this base. And straight away, you need to do this super fast to make it work properly. Is you're going to go eat one human meat and then get the 100% comfort. Straight away. And as you can see, because as soon as you spawn, your food bar is higher, and it's your food bar which gives you health when you have 100% comfort. So I'll speed this up and I'll show you what health we're on when I get back. And there you go, guys. You can see I've gone up to 100% health for nothing. It's cost me nothing. Just a tiny bit of my time. I've just killed my body, cooked the food, and it's there ready when I respawn, and boom, I'm 100% health. Alright, guys. Okay, guys, so this next tip is how to loot fast. Okay, so what you want to do is go into your options and go to controls, and then scroll down until you find hover loot. Personally, I like to have it as my thumb mouse button on my mouse, so I can just quickly do it, but it's totally up to you what you put it as. So apply that, and then all you do is when you hit your loot, you can just hold that button down and hover over what you want, and it picks it up. Okay, another tip while you're in that screen is move around whilst you're doing this. Okay, I'm really awful for this, but just keep yourself moving while you grab what you want and then dip out. Okay, that way if someone does shoot you while you're being greedy and looting for too long, you might have a chance to survive. Okay, guys, next tip is in Outpost. Okay, so just come over to the level 1 workbench, open the tech tree, and research salvaged hammer and the paddle. Okay, once you've done that, craft a paddle. Okay, craft that bad boy up. Okay, and then what you can do with the paddle is you can smash things up inside the Outpost. Okay, so you can smash these up, and I think each one is worth about 10 scrap, something like that. And what you tend to find as well, just outside of there you go, out here, just outside the boundaries of Outposts, you find barrels as well on the roads and in these little areas like this. You're normally quite safe there. Most people don't tend to kill you there, but I will touch on that in the next tip. Okay, the next tip is to get some decent loot. If you have a friend, it works really well. If you're solo, not so good, because you have to use an alt account on an alt computer, or use something like GeForce, and now it makes it a lot harder. But anyway, so what you do is you have a guy with a DB or something who hides. He waits till someone comes up here to loot. That guy pumps the guy with the DB. He will then probably die to the auto turrets. As soon as that is dead, you then come out from behind cover, say from behind here or something, or wherever you are, your base or whatever. As soon as your mate says he's killed him, you come out, and then you can grab the loot, because these aren't actually in the safe zone, so the loot bags are lootable. So your mate dies, you grab his DB, and then you grab the rest of the loot, which normally is components and scrap. Okay, so not a bad tip, it's quite dirty, but hey ho. Okay guys, the next tip is when you're early game and you're still basically prim weapons, you're just getting out of that phase, try and run around with a crossy and a nail gun, or if you've got the pistol, do the revy as well. And what you do is you just run around with the crossy, have it loaded. If you've got a flame arrow in it, that's even better. You just run around, if you see someone, just pop that off and flick straight to your nail gun, and then just obviously finish off with that or the revy. Really powerful combo because the crossy does good damage, and then it's good to finish off with the nail gun or the pistol. So this next tip is a minicopter tip. Now when I actually cause damage, it's actually going to hurt myself because I'm on a build server, but just ignore that. Okay, so what it is if someone nicks your helicopter and you're an outpost or something and they go to fly off, just jump in the passenger seat, get a melee weapon out and just look down to your bottom right as far most as you can and just chop them out basically. That damaged me, like I said, because I'm on a build server, but likewise if it's your teammate and you're getting a ride along and someone starts shooting at you and they take damage, you can heal them as well by getting your med sticks out and using the right mouse, and you can actually med your teammate for him to try and keep the pilot alive. Okay guys? Okay, so this next tip is if you have GeForce Now, it's totally free and you own another Steam with another copy of Rust, it can be handy for multiple reasons, and one of them reasons is if you're raiding. I mean, even if you're solo or in a group, what I do is I would put some ladders down and stick my second account butt naked on the roof like this, looking that way, and on my other monitor I have this view. So whilst I'm raiding, I can just quickly look over and have another view of actually what he can see. I do go into my sound mixer and mute GeForce Now, obviously because I don't want to hear the noises from him and thinking they're around me. So that's one thing I do. But you can do it for multiple things. You can use them as bait for trap. You can put them in suicide bunkers so you don't have to kill yourself. You can just use him to pass the loot out. There's lots of good reasons for actually having a second account. So this is just one of them. Okay, so something I like to do when I'm farming, if I see a bunch of nodes that I want to get, sometimes I will just drop all my nodes next to somewhere where I can remember, in case I get killed. Then I'll run off, obviously, start smashing the nodes, smash 1, 2, 3 nodes that are in close proximity to each other. Obviously I won't do too much, and once I've got them, and then as soon as I'm leaving this area to head back to my base, I'll just run back, haven't been killed, and grab all the stuff, okay, and then I'll head home. Okay, it's saved me so much loot in the past when I've just been hitting a node and I've been killed, and then all that stuff has still been there. So try it out and let me know what you think about it. Okay, this next tip is basically a way to get rich fast. but it does require some patience, and there's two ways to do it. Is one, you can hide somewhere. Sometimes it's like a little vent you can hide in, or somewhere outside. If you see a geared guys come in, you wait till they go in, wait till they go down in the lift, and then you just drop the nades on them and kill them, obviously, and then you can call the lift back up and get the loot. The other one is you hang around up here and wait until someone starts coming up the lift. I'll simulate that now. Cool, the elevator, there you go. You want to get the nades on it quite quick. The nades do go through the lift, so see, if you haven't killed them, wait, time's about half an hour, you're not going to kill them, so make sure you get the nades on it sharpish. Okay, so this next tip is common sense kind of, but it kind of skips a lot of people by, and I totally understand why, so I'll try and get to the point. So what it is a lot of people, most people just build one big base, and there is downfalls to that because it looks more appealing to raiders, so they tend to raid them because they think there's going to be more loot in there. So why don't you try building multiple small bases? So for example, if this was my main base here, maybe like a honeycombed 1x2 or something with a door push, which I'll look at. You could have another one over here, and then you could have another one over here or something like that. And plus, if you've got one over here, you can always loot train yard on the way back to your main. So if you've got a door camper or something on you, or just there's like a big fight going on or something, just spawn over here, get something cooking, sort your boxes, and then loot this on the way back, and then you've got some more loot at your base. And the good reason for having multiple bases or something like that is the fact that the odds of them all being raided overnight is pretty slim, so that means you don't get deleted from the server. Also, the fact that they're cheap to upkeep and they're just not going to get raided. They just don't look appealing to raiders. I hardly ever get raided living at multiple small bases. So yeah, give it a try. Okay guys, so have you ever had it where you hold shift and you sprint running because you haven't binded sprint to your W key yet, and you're running around and you want to press tab to look into your inventory, and it brings up your Steam overlay? How annoying is that? So, I swear to God, it's got me killed before. Anyway, if you guys want to solve this problem, just go into Steam and go to Steam settings and go into in-game, and then you can disable the Steam overlay while in-game by unchecking this box at the top here. But if you will still want to keep the Steam overlay because you use it, leave it enabled, and you can just change your shortcut down the bottom here, so it's not shift tab. You can just change it to something totally unique that isn't related to Rust, and then you will not have this problem anymore. Okay, this next tip is how to locate a raid when you're inside your base if there's a raid nearby. So you wait for the boom. As soon as you hear it, turn until you could, like, basically you'll know which way it is from your base. Obviously, if you've got a good headset or whatever, you just face the direction you think the sound come from. Now, don't just leave it at that, because sometimes you'll finish doing what you're doing and then you'll head off and you can't remember exactly where it was. So what I would do is I press the map and I just look down in the direction I heard the sound from, and just right click and put a marker there. So it's might be at the supermarket, so it's in that direction, so that's the direction I would head. Okay, so then I could probably finish doing what I was doing, gear up or whatever, and then head off, and I know which direction I heard that boom from. Because sometimes there's more, so sometimes there's more booms, sometimes there isn't, and you'll be glad of that marker you put down. Okay guys, so this tip is basically if someone puts a gun in a shop, you can yoink the attachments right out of it. And on Rustoria, they have shops in Outpost. Okay guys, this next tip is how to jump higher, and you might have heard of it, you might not have, and it's called Steps, Physics Steps 60. So currently I'm on the default, which is Steps 32, and as you can see, to prove that you will jump higher, you cannot jump up on a TC with steps 32. And I can prove I'm on steps 32 because every time I jump and every time I land, it's set in 32 and 32. And I cannot get on this TC. But if you paste this in, which I'll put it down in the description below, there you go, this code here. So basically it's saying that you're on 32 when you're not jumping, but it adds step 60 when you do jump. The reason for this is that there is rumours going around that when you're permanently on step 60, you get more invalid shots, which no one wants. Okay, so this only applies the 60 when you jump, and it removes it when you're not jumping. Okay, so I'm going to apply this. So as you can see, if I jump a few times now, you can see that it's adding the 60 and then removing it when I land, and then I should be able to jump straight up on top of a TC quite comfortably. That's the difference on how much higher you can jump. Boy, done it.
This is the